My name is Larry Placide. I am a consultant. We have a company called Ideas to Business Limited that works in development consulting in the region. I'm a former negotiator of the Economic Partnership Agreement. I was a member of the College of Negotiators of the CARICOM for the negotiation of the EPA, as well as currently for the negotiations with Canada. And my area of specialty, both in let's say that part of my public life and my private consulting activities, is international trade and services, including cultural services. The agreement came into force in 2008, and so we're now at the end of 5 years of operation of the Economic Partnership Agreement. The Economic Partnership Agreement is an agreement between the European Union and CARICOM. CARICOM represents CARICOM plus the Dominican Republic. Okay. And indeed, and Bahamas, because the Bahamas, even though they're not part of the CSME, are part of CARICOM. The EPA is an intergovernmental agreement, so our individual member states in the Caribbean and the individual member states in Europe are implementing the agreement, and have been doing so since 2008 on a provisional basis in the Caribbean while we conclude our ratification, and the same process in Europe, the countries of the European Union. That's an interesting question. I don't know how to answer that, really. The EPA is really for the member states, and from a Caribbean perspective, it's really our member states that should be working on it. Implementation of the EPA has been difficult because it's a wide-ranging agreement. It includes from provisions from culture, as we're going to talk about today, but also to intellectual property, environment, labor, market access for goods and other services. So individual member states have established EPA implementation units, and those are supported by an EPA implementation unit in Guyana at the CARICOM Secretariat. I wouldn't have been part of the negotiation if I didn't think that there were many pros for it. I think that's very positive for the region. One, it locks in our access in goods to Europe. We are all, for the last 20-something, 30-something years, we've had duty-free, quota-free access to Europe. This continues as a result of the EPA. But the previous arrangements with Europe did not include an element on trade and services, which is the largest part of the Caribbean economy. So it was important for us to include services liberalization within the context of the overall economic relationship between the Caribbean and Europe. So that's a big pro, the fact that services are now included, financial services, cultural services, professional services, etc., in which there is some capability within the region. Also really important, potentially really important, is what the EPA does for helping the Caribbean integrate better. And note that I said the Caribbean and not CARICOM. With respect to the Caribbean, it allows us to improve our relationship with the Dominican Republic, for one, and it also pulls the Bahamas more closely within the economic relationship that is CARICOM. So there are pros from that point of view. Obviously, there have been many critics of the EPA. They talk about the fact that it's a complicated agreement, that it would be difficult for Caribbean countries to implement. They also cite the fact that we are required to provide some preferential access to European goods and services, and for some that is a point of concern. But overall, in my view, the benefits of the EPA relating to the locking in of existing access, the creation of new access opportunities, and the opportunities that it provides for promoting regional integration and the better organization of our economies and national governance systems, I think it's positive.